Hi dear students, your Pushpa madam is back. Now I will going to discuss about what is centrifugation, the principle involved in centrifugation process and the applications. Centrifugation, it's a process, but in centrifugation we use a machine, we called it as the centrifuge. What is centrifuge? Centrifuge is a device used for separating the particles from a solution according to their size, shape, density, viscosity of the medium. We called it as centrifuge. Centrifuge is nothing but a device which is used for separating the particles in a solution. Particles in a solution, that is very important, and the separation based on the size of the particle, shape, density and viscosity of the medium that we selected. This is we called it as a centrifuge. And what is centrifugation? Centrifugation is a process which involves the use of centrifugal force. Centrifugal force for the sedimentation of heterogeneous mixtures with a centrifuge. Okay, centrifugation can be carried out with the help of centrifuge. You already know centrifuge is a machine and centrifugation is a process. What we are using under the process of centrifugation, we are using the centrifugal force. What this force will do? This centrifugal force for the sedimentation of heterogeneous mixtures with a centrifuge. The mixture that we will going to separate, that will going to be sedimented, or it will going to settle down at the bottom of the centrifuge, in a machine, okay, by sedimentation process. What is the principle involved in centrifugation? That is very important. The centrifuge, it's a machine. The centrifuge involves the principle of centrifugation. Centrifugation means centrifugal force, where the acceleration at a centripetal force causes denser substances to separate out along with the radial direction at the bottom of the tube. In a solution, the particles whose density is higher than that of the solvent, sink or sediment, and that are lighter than it float at the top. The greater the difference in density, the faster they move. Very simple principle. Centrifugation can be carried out with the help of a device called centrifuge. What we use in the centrifuge? We use the centrifugal force. What the centrifugal force will do? It will accelerate. That means we will going to fix the movement of the centrifugal machine in RPM, rates per minute. And because of that acceleration speed, what happens? The particles or the substances to be get separated, denser, they will going to settle down at the bottom of the centrifuge tube, and the lighter particles, they will come up at the top of the tube. Okay, here the greater the difference in density, the faster they will move. That is the difference between the density of the particle to be separated, okay, and how much acceleration, the speed that we fix, it depends. Okay, this is the principle involved in the centrifugation. And what are the applications of centrifugation? So this centrifugation technique is used to remove the cellular elements from the blood, provides cell-free serum or plasma. Okay, from the blood we can separate the plasma, and blood cells can be separated and plasma can be separated. Okay, there we can use this technology, and this technique also used in cellular element for the microscopy, the thing to be studied under the microscope, cellular element, that can be also separated, isolated by this technique, and remove the protein precipitates from analytic sample. For the analytic sample we also remove the protein precipitation of proteins for the analytic sample also, and isolation of the macromolecules such as the DNA, RNA, proteins or the lipids. These we considered as the macrobiological molecules like DNA, RNA and proteins and lipids. Now for the isolation in a mixture we can also isolate these products and use in hematology lab. That means analysis of blood samples, no, hematological studies, the study of neutrophil, basophil, eosinophils, WBC cells or BC cells. For that also we use this technology for PCB. Okay, then very important thing, we are using the word that is centrifugal force. The centrifugal force is the word from the Latin. It takes the meaning, it means centrum, that is meaning center, and figure, FUGER, means to flee ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ಟು meaning. Is the apparent force that draws rotating body away from the center of rotation. That means this you will come to know when you are using the centrifugal machine in your laboratories. Okay, this centrifugal force that draws a rotating body, away from the center of the rotation. That is, we called it as the centrifugal force. Of course, biotechnology students and also microbiology students, they already used this centrifugation technique for the separation of certain things in their laboratories. And CBZ and BZP students may not use. Of course, I think they are also used in chemistry lab, I think for the analytical separation of certain molecules, I think so. But here we need to discuss only the meaning of centrifugation, the principle and the applications involved. And there are much more things to study about the centrifugation, and there are different types of centrifugal machines are also there. But just for your knowledge, just I will go into mention. We have the bench centrifuge, continuous flow centrifuge, gas centrifuge, hematocrit centrifuge, high speed centrifuge, low speed centrifuge, micro centrifuge, macro centrifuge, ultra centrifuge. So these are different types of centrifuges we are using, and depending upon the sample to be get separated, we are using these types of centrifuge in different purpose. Okay. And here also you may get a question like 3 marks or 5 marks. Write a note on centrifugation. Then you need to say what is centrifugation, principle and applications. Or only for 3 marks you may mention the application of centrifugation. Then you need to mention point wise. Or they may also 3 marks, what is the principle involved in centrifugation, just without altering anything. Okay, you need to represent the principle of centrifugation. Okay guys.